Hello, my name is Brian Donovan with Thai Martial Arts, and in this video we're going to be going over your hook punch. Now, typically when I teach punches, I actually teach them from a traditional stance like your horse stance here. So the hands are on your hip, rotate through, brush the elbow against the body as your straight punch. Uppercut, same thing, brush the elbow against the body, lift it up. Hook punches, lift the shoulder up and then bring it across, okay? And the reason that I usually start off that way is because it puts the arm in a proper position in order to throw that punch. It keeps the alignment of the fist and the wrist, making sure that the student is hitting with the proper knuckles, not going to potentially injure themselves. Okay, so I typically start off my students that way, and then from there, it's just learning how to apply that to more of a live setting, more of like a boxing, more of a kickboxing setting, okay? All right, so when I typically start off, I'll have the student put the hand on the hip. What this does is it puts a natural bend in the elbow there, okay? Now from here, if you lift your arm up, keep that elbow locked in that position, lift your arm up even with your shoulder, and then bring your fist around. Making sure again that the wrist is flat and you're aiming with the two big knuckles. That's the proper alignment on your hook punch, okay? We're not doing some big crazy action hero hook punch or something like that where it's, you know, coming, we're cocking the arm way back here and then trying to throw it like you're the Hulk or something like that, okay? That's movie stuff, and you're gonna end up hurting yourself that way because you're either gonna hurt your shoulder, you're gonna hit the wrong part of your hand, or you're gonna open and expose yourself so much that your opponent's just gonna counter you very easily, okay? All right, now, being able to apply this on the bag or in a sparring situation, we're going to start off on the bag from here. So if I'm starting off in my stance here, I'm starting off in an orthodox stance, my hands are in the ready. You need to be a little bit closer on the hook punch because you're not getting the same range that you would on a straight punch, okay? It's going to be a longer range punch where the hook punch, once we're done, is going to be super tight. Okay, you're punching at maybe elbow distance. We don't want to open up that arm too much because then what happens is you're going to end up hitting with those knuckles, the middle knuckles here, like if you were knocking on a door or something like that. We want to make sure we're hitting with these two big knuckles, okay, for our basic hook punches. Like I said, there's going to be variations of hook punches. We'll get into those a little bit later on. For right now, I want to make sure that I'm hitting with those two knuckles. So it's going to be a very close range, a very tight punch. Now as we're practicing on the bag here, we're going to get roughly about elbow distance away from the bag, and then we're just going to rotate into that punch. Now, as far as your footwork is concerned, you're in your fight stance here. We want to rotate into that, okay? So you're spinning on the balls of your feet. And you're rotating. It's not coming from the shoulder. I'm taking whatever my body weight is and I'm rotating that into my hook punch. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it's not way back here, because now you're just swinging the arm. So it's how much force you can generate with your arm is going to dictate how much power you have in your hook punch. Okay, and some people they can generate a lot of force, and that's great. But if you're looking for a clean, tight hook punch that's going to be fast, get you back into the ready, so this way you can throw combinations, another punch, not open you up and expose you, so this way you're not susceptible to being countered, then you want to keep that punch a little bit tighter and a little bit faster and a little bit cleaner, okay? So from here on your hook punch, we want to rotate into it. You're just lifting the elbow up is all you're doing, and it's the twist of the body that's going to generate that force, okay? Not how much arm swing. So it's the difference between if you're at the gym and you're doing like the cable flies or something like that, you're either using all arm, or I tuck that cable nice and tight and then rotate into it. Okay, we want to rotate into it. That's going to make it a lot easier. So if I have like 50 pounds on the cable, can you do it with one arm? Or if we tuck that in nice and tight, can you rotate it a lot easier with your entire body? You're going to create more force rotating your entire body. Okay, all right, so as we're on the bag here, again, aiming with the two knuckles, keeping that wrist flat, lifting that elbow up, which is super important so we don't, if I let that elbow sag, I'm going to end up hitting with my bottom two knuckles, and I don't want that, okay? So from here, I get nice and tight, I set myself up, and I'm just rotating, lifting the elbow up, making contact, with the two big knuckles. Same thing as with all your punches, with all your kicks, the more repetition, the better you're going to get. Take your time, have patience, think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing from start to finish, and then again, reverse engineer that and think about what you're doing from finish to start, okay? It goes two ways. You don't want to just think of it one way, you want to think of it both ways, so this way you can dissect and break it down and figure out what your body is doing and how it's doing it, so this way you can make that punch a lot better, okay? So again, we get elbow distance here. I have my stance. Yes, it's nice and close and tight. I understand that. This is just for training purposes. It's just for practice. So lift the elbow up, rotate in. We don't need to hit it hard. You're just making contact with the two big knuckles. So this way we can practice making that contact, lifting that elbow up, and getting that feedback on our body. So this way we know if we're doing it correctly, okay? All right, my name is Brian Donovan with Thai Martial Arts. That's your hook punch.